hold it for a couple of seconds and release it. I want you to feel the moment, the breeze and the warmth of the air. You are now a bystander. You're in the 1970s in a Caribbean island. As you look into your right, you see a school bus pull up, and you see a little girl jump off the bus and continue running. The little girl walks into the house and she yells, "Bendición!" She is requesting a blessing, and is also a part of the greeting in Spanish to her mother. That means a blessing. She puts on plain clothes and her favorite orange slippers. She walks out of the room and continues on to the kitchen. She goes and grabs a lemonade glass and a couple of crackers. She is full of energy and joy. As she starts stepping towards the farthest room in the back of the house, her steps change. She becomes somber. She becomes quiet. When she gets to the end of the house, there's a small room. She sees a door. When she opens the door, darkness. It takes a couple of seconds for her eyes to get accustomed to the darkness in the room, and she can see a small bed tucked in all the way in the corner. She walks slowly towards the bed, and there she finds her favorite aunt, who is also her best friend. Her aunt looks a lot like her and is just a kid herself at 15 years old. The little girl says, "Do you want some snacks?" The older girl says, "No tengo hambre. I'm not hungry." The little girl sits close to her aunt, her favorite person, and they continue to hold hands for the rest of the afternoon. The older girl is beaten down by severe depression and psychosis stemming from traumatic events and a heavy genetic load of psychiatric illness that runs in her family. The little girl obsessively thinks about, why can she get better, and what can I do to help? I want you to take a deep breath, hold and release, and I would like to introduce myself. My name is Simone. I am a complex trauma psychotherapist. I am an expert on the stressors of high achievers in high-pressure environments. I am a clinical doctoral candidate for the University of Alabama. I am a mother. I am a proud wife. But I am also the little girl with the orange flip-flops. High genetic psychiatric load in a family or individual means that they have the genetic predisposition and have factors that could potentially make them suffer from diseases like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia. My family endured those diseases and many others. I was raised being the supporter and the advocate for many of my aunts and uncles who suffered from diseases that took time, productivity, and joy from them. I was their helper around the house. I was also their visitor when inpatient treatment became necessary. When I grew up, I became a psychotherapist, and I pursued my career with the fervor and the passion and the drive of somebody that knows, because she has felt it in her own life, that 1 hour, 1 month, 1 minute, 1 second in suffering is one too many. Because in that window of time is when we lose opportunities, is when we rupture our relationships with others in ways that are challenging to recover from. These are the moments where we make decisions that affect our legacy and our families for generations to come. I pursued my career with passion, with stamina, and I learned as I was trained that even in the most challenging situation, there are windows of opportunity. There are opportunities, there are windows where everything can change, where things can improve, when the suffering can be lessened. And I held on to that for dear life. Not only to rewrite my own narrative and that of my family, but also to bring light and healing to my clients and the people that I present for. You see, when we look at mental illness, we look at it from the perspective of, oh, that's nothing to do with me. That data is somebody else. Okay, I want to share data with you. 1 in 4 adults in the United States suffers from a diagnosable mental illness. Unfortunately, many of them are not receiving the appropriate care and the support that they need. A lot of that has to do with barriers to treatment. A lot of that has to do with our lack of knowledge around our own needs. What can I do to improve my mental health? How do I know when I need help? How do I know who's in my corner? I came here today to share a few tips that potentially can illuminate the journey for you and that of your loved ones. Tip number one, we need to have a deep dive into ourselves, and we have to have a certain sense of honesty. We always think like, oh, this is for somebody else, we don't need it, I can wait. Ask yourself, how fine am I when I'm saying, I'm fine? How fine are you? How fine are your loved ones? Always somebody else, right? So I'm going to do a little exercise, and I am going to do a disclaimer at the beginning. I promise you I don't work for the CIA, and to state that I'm going to read your file, right? But I am going to say certain things, and one of these things might apply to you. For some of us, more than one of those things are going to apply. And I want to use these examples just to expand our way to look at grief, loss, trauma, and emotional and mental health concerns. We always think we have to compete with others. Oh, what happened to me was not that bad. Nothing really big, nothing really bad has happened. So I'm going to say a couple of things, and you see if they fit or they don't fit, if it's something that has happened or something that you know has happened in your family, right? Some of us have a ruptured relationship with an important relative in our lives. Some of us are having trouble making friends or keeping the friends we have. Some of us have to relocate because of our jobs or our partners' jobs, and now don't have a village. Some of us have internal conversations and messages and whisper in our minds that talk about the way that we look, the way that we sound, our belonging in any type of space. Some of us were raised by parents that did the best that they could, but that was not good enough. Some of us were raised by parents that are divorced, or that worst case scenario, stayed together in toxic relationships, which has tainted the way that we feel about love and how safe love feels. Some of us are going to school and maybe have a job and we have credits on really, really difficult. And we're trying so hard to build a future for ourselves, and we worry so much of disappointing our families. There's so much riding on our success. There's so much riding on our ability to do that thing. When we look at this group of things, we can take a breath and think, these are the type of things that I can get support for. So every day, ask yourself, how fine am I? How fine are my loved ones? And allow yourself the opportunity to pursue the support that you need within the resources that you have. Tip number 2, become a better mental wellness consumer. Watch, I didn't say patient, I didn't say client. I was very deliberate about saying consumer because therapy is a paid service, right? Whether you pay for it or you don't, your school pays for it, your job pays for it, your insurance pays for it, it's a paid service. And because it's a paid service, we need to expect deliverables. When we go into any of the services, there's a lot of mystery. Shh. Therapy just got hit like 2 weeks ago, and nobody talked about that, right? Until the pandemic. But there's a lot of mystery. There's also a lot of imbalance of power. The therapist knows everything, and she's gonna fix me. And I'm just there trying to do my best. No, I want you to stay on your own 2 feet and understand that you are the expert of your life experience. And the therapist is simply your companion in the journey. We need to take that power back. We are consumers. It is a paid service. You are going to do the hard work. But there has to be an expectation. There has to be a deliverable, and there has to be an increased knowledge of what does it look like. When you're interviewing a therapist, I would love for you to say, so what are your deliverables with customers similar to me when they work with you 3 to 6 months, because I'm not trying to be here with you for 5 years. I would like for you to ask them, how do you find yourself culturally competent to treat me? Or am I going to spend several sessions schooling you on the intricacies of being me in the world outside? Because at that point, you have to pay me. I want you to look at your therapeutic relationships now and say, I love this therapist and he helped me in this particular journey, but is our journey done? Can I take a break? Therapy, for most of us, doesn't have to be forever. You can go, you can come back, they'll be there, or somebody else will be there. Is it that you are working with somebody and after several sessions, you just don't feel it, you guys are not jiving, it's not the right fit, or could be that you just suck? Fire your therapist. Because at the end of the day, it's a service, it's a life-saving service. It's that important. When you went to the nail salon, and the nail salon lady did you dirty, right? When you guys went to the haircut, and you came out looking all crazy when you came out, you didn't say, never again, no salons for me, I'm gonna look like a monster. No, you're doing that help with you, and you went by your merry way and you found your person. I want you to use that same stamina. This relationship is that important. So number 3, if the iPhone does it, maybe we should do it too. I don't want to start any beef with the people that have Androids. I know they get very tasty when you talk about, but the iPhone is the best invention of human history. It's one of the top technological inventions in the world, and the iPhone upgrades and updates itself every month. Whether you want it or not, it's not come on, 12 o'clock today, lock me up, put me plug in, I'm going to update myself. If the iPhone does it, no competitor in the whole world, it updates itself every month, why can we allow ourselves that? We have to realize that society raised us to operate on 3 primary emotions: happy, sad, and mad. If you're happy, you love your life and walking on rainbows, right? But if you're mad and sad, most of us don't have the appropriate skills to share what we feel or to process what we feel. We feel stuck. Also, when it has to do not only with our emotions, when it has to do with our behaviors, there are similar things that happen. Do you make fun of yourself? Do you make others laugh? Do you dim your light in your brilliance because you don't want to call attention to yourself? Does your throat lock up when you're having the smallest discussion at work or have to talk to your supervisor about why he is wrong and you are after all right? These are behaviors that are simply data points. Our emotions are data points. Our behaviors are data points. We can always choose to update and upgrade. We can say, this is then, and this is now. And starting today, I am going to give myself the permission to update my operating system. I can learn assertive communication. I can learn how to stress boundaries on others and on myself too. I can learn to emotionally regulate. I can learn to speak more kindly about myself. You're not permanently broken. If you start looking at our bodies, our emotions, our behaviors just as data of people that did the best that they could because they didn't know any better, but they're now on the road to pursue those skills, life gets a lot easier. Life gets better. My last tip is tip number 4. And if it's good enough for Beyonce, okay, and Leo Messi, it's probably good enough for you. What happens is that they're trained athletes. Whatever happens on the stage, the victory is bigger than this pain. Chop, chop, nothing to see. Keep the train on the track. There might be somebody coming with first aid, there might be a backup dancer that has a little situation going on until she gets out, right? Because nobody falls like Beyonce, she falls like nobody does it better. But what we fail to understand as spectators is that when these things happen and the show is over, as SWAT teams descend from the ceiling, the Navy SEALs come in, doctors, masseurs, the guy that lifts the stretcher, the guy that gives the positive affirmations of healing, the guru, the one with the crystals, they have teams that preserve their health. but also secure their longevity. When these things happen to them, there's a happenstance that nobody was expecting, and there's a backup plan. You and I have much more in common with Beyonce and Messi than we think. If we think about it, we are our biggest asset. We are valuable. When we think about emotional pain and physical pain, they both need attention and they need care. So what I want you to think about in your specific life is, who is my team? We also, if we open our eyes and give ourselves permission, it's always the most important thing, we can see how we can assemble a team for ourselves. Who's in your corner now? Who has your back? What benefit do you have from your job that you're not using? Yes, I'm talking to all of you that have employee programs and insurance and you don't use it. Who can help me? The tutor, the professor? Can my HR person connect me? Is there a book? Is there a podcast? Can I change my algorithm and TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are, so that it shows things that are productive towards this thing that I'm trying to fix, this thing that I'm trying to address? You are valuable and you're important, and you deserve a team. If you give yourself the permission to update yourself, to upgrade yourself, not only are you going to become the version 2.0 of who you are today, but you are going to go on to change the world. We need you. Your light, your gift is special. We need you here with us in full force and with full stamina. The old script told us that we had to hide. We had to be in shadows. We had to wait. We were just clients. We were just patients, right? The old script told us to suffer in silence and put ourselves last. That script does not serve us. The script that works for us is like we are together. We are deserving. We deserve the world and everything in it. And we are finally going to give ourselves the permission to get it. Thank you so much.